What's up, everyone? We are officially on tour. So, big thanks to everyone who came out in Chicago this Saturday. Big thanks to Solips and Charles from the Episode 1 podcast for playing with us. The show was a blast. Big love to the city of big shoulders, Los Angeles. We will be with you next this Saturday, October 8th at the Theater at the Ace Hotel. We've got Tim Heidecker. We've got music from LA Witch. This show is going to rip. If you are hearing this and live anywhere near Los Angeles, you are contractually obligated to come out. It's going to be a blast. Tickets still available at chapotraphouse.com/live. And along those lines, we've just been told we've been given a few tickets to do a giveaway for this show. We're going to be doing this giveaway over on Patreon, but it's going to be open to everyone. It will work exactly like our South by Southwest ticket giveaway. I will make a post explaining the rules tomorrow. That's Tuesday morning, Tuesday the 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Then the submissions will be officially opened on Wednesday the 5th, also at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So keep an eye out over on the Patreon and on Twitter if you want some free tickets to the LA show on this Wednesday. After that, we're still coming to NYC on Friday the 14th with music from 95 Bulls and our stand-up opener that we can't name. Then to to Fort Lauderdale on Sunday the 30th with music from Don Z and the same stand-up opener. Links to all tickets over on chapotraphouse.com/live. Now, on with the show.
You can get liver and onions, the Charlie Chaplin ate.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. No,
Kidney lobster thermidor.
It's a kidney and onion.
Kidney and onions.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's lobster thermidor as opposed to like regular lobster?
Okay, so this is a classic. This is the kind of fish was like the height of fanciness about 100 years ago before we discovered, modern cuisine as such. It's one of those
Before you could dip
dishes
lobster in melted butter.
You don't, you don't see it so much anymore. So you take it's essentially twice baked lobster. You take a lobster, you boil it up, you cut it in half sideways. Mm-hmm. You take out the meat, you toss it with sherry and cheese, I think, or something, and then you make it into kind of basically like a souffle type thing. And then you stuff it back into the shell, and then you cook it again, and then it's delicious.
Okay. I can deal with that. We're talking about an executive lunch.
The ice cream sandwiches are so good though.
Those were great.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
All right.
It's Chapo.
All right.
Chapo coming at you. Stardate unknown. Recording undisclosed location. Nat, Felix, we've got movie sign.
Yeah. If you are hearing this, we have passed away.
Yes.
This is the last episode you will ever hear.
We are speaking from the beyond the grave.
Yeah.
This is a message from the future.
Someday during the October tour, we foolishly all got on the same plane. It was hit by a Texas Air National Guard anti-air battery while flying into Austin airspace.
Wait a minute. You're aware of this? Yet we're still going to go through with it?
This is a message from the future. You are not dreaming.
Yeah.
You are not dreaming. This is a Chapo movie episode.
Well, to explain, I've jacked off into a cup and I've given instructions to 10 women I know with the best genetics and told them to, make a kid. And I've taken out a $30 million life insurance policy on myself.
Nice.
For if we get shot down. So I will be giving up my life, but creating a 6'4" son, hopefully, with $30 million.
Podcast died. It was singing, but okay.
But seriously, Peter Berg will be executed.
That is correct. That is correct, Felix. The movie we are bringing you is the second in the Peter Berg series, which years ago began with the classic film and one of my favorite Chapo episodes, Patriots Day, the Boston bombing movie.
Yep.
The episode that involved me accidentally taking a 100 milligram edible and being in a movie theater when Kevin Bacon started talking to us. The real, actual Kevin Bacon in the movie theater. Patriots Day, one of my favorite Chapo movie episodes. We'll see how this one goes. The movie we're bringing you is a movie that offered the America of 2012 a glimpse at an alternate universe, a scenario that might have been, where rather than the mega comic book cinematic universes that we are that dominate today's popular culture landscape. We could have had a board game based cinematic universe, perhaps with competing Hasbro cinematic universe, Parker Brothers cinematic universe,
Milton Bradley, and of course all of the smaller studios and independents that would get all of those public domain games like chess and checkers,
Go,
and Parcheesi. Yes, the classic game of Go,
the ancient Chinese game of Go.
Yeah.
No, the movie is Battleship. Peter Berg's Battleship, a Hasbro film.
Yes. So during the Bush era and the Bungler, that period, that is when we went from having the classic Hollywood understanding where there would be a bunch of movies that would come out and you'd throw stuff at a wall and you see what stuck, and you just sort of do that every year. But because of the changing economics of film, during this period, the second Bush term to O'Bungler, Hollywood starts going around for a new business model to deal with their new reality, and that one requires radically increasing the size of movie budgets while reducing the risk associated with any specific film, and that meant intellectual property, and that meant specifically intellectual property owned by the studio. So where is it going to come from? Where in the big bin of stuff people have heard of are we going to go? And there were three big options. One was toys. And the big exponent of that we got was Transformers, of course. Michael Bay's Iraq War, basically. He spent about as much time and about as much money trying to get America to care about the Transformers and to make it like a cultural thing. And it never happened. And it was a huge disaster. So that was his Iraq War. But other than those movies and the G.I. Joe movies, which are only kind of
barely
hits,
yeah,
there was no real. It didn't get a gusher. Then of course we've got comic books, which that exploded.
Iron Man came out in 2008, so
Yeah.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe is already 40 years into Project A or whatever the fuck they were calling that shit back then. But yeah. This was the
They were casting about.
They were casting about.
Okay, what else
can we
is
do? What other than comic books?
Yeah.
Comic books and old cartoon shows and stuff. And the answer, board games. Speaking of budgets, I'm just looking at the Wikipedia for Battleship. It says here, Battleship was greenlit with a production budget of $150 million, but went through a troubled pre-production. Universal at one point considered canceling the film, which would have resulted in a $30 million loss. However, new chairman Adam Fogelson decided the studio would lose less money if they increased the budget of the film instead of outright canceling it.
Step on the fucking gas.
Jared Fogelson coming in clutch. So yeah, this movie, it's product of great waste. If we had just spent 3 times the budget of this movie, we could refill the missiles in the Iron Dome. But this was. How do I, just short glance, how do I describe this movie, Leonard Maltin style? This is a movie for people with no internal monologue and no memory of events more than a minute past them. This is,
this is all of Oliver Sacks's Patience and Awakenings. This is the movie for them.
We watch a lot of bad movies for this show. We watch a lot of mediocre things. We will watch a lot of good things. It's very rare that a thing we watch makes me severely depressed. The last time it happened was when we watched the Warcraft movie, which I think is made for I guess middle class children in China who just Adderall's not working for them. They're supposed to watch the Warcraft movie, and this is worse than that.
He said that earlier. He said this reminds me of the Warcraft movie, and I had a moment where I thought, have I seen that? And then I remembered, no, we did an episode about it.
Yeah,
Branson was on
it.
I'm pretty sure I was on that episode. So that means I saw it, but I swear to God, I remember nothing about it.
I don't remember anything except waking up in a clock tower with a rifle.
I guess my Sandy Kenyon style review of Battleship is run, don't walk to see Battleship. It's the movie that'll make you forgive the Japanese for attacking Pearl Harbor.
That is a lot of the subtext of this movie. That's probably the most interesting thing about this movie, the Pearl Harbor connections.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this movie really makes more sense as a veiled movie about Japan and the United States allying against China. Because we'll talk about it. The aliens in this movie are even though they are able to travel interstellar dimensional space, their tech, their physiology. I mean, they're basically humans, only slightly different.
Yeah,
It's
they have 3 fingers
it's
instead of
basically
5.
the way Asian people were viewed in films until like 5 minutes ago. You know, like you could see that as sort of the subtext here, because it's not really, they aren't aliens. They're just people with like weird gecko eyes.
And I would extend that analogy, the China analogy. That's definitely how Peter Berg sees it, to the alien technology. Very similar to a TCL TV, where you get it and you're like, oh my god, this is like a great alien battleship. I'm getting an entire 60-inch TV for $370, and it's got Roku built in. 4 years later, you try to load up HBO Max, and it just your TV turns off, and the woman's yelling at you because you brought your TV.
Saying,
to
I want to watch
house.
Euphoria, Felix.
Yeah, you brought your TV to her house because you said I have Euphoria on my TV, and she's like, I'm rushing a sorority at UCLA. I was born in 2002, and you're like, well, I'm actually going to be a director soon. And then she's like, how come you have a 4-year-old TCL TV that doesn't work? And I say, well, it's a lot like Peter Berg's Battleship. And she says, that came out when I was 10 years old. This is a real thing that happened. This is exactly what I do in my life.
At one point, Felix, you said this movie sounds like it was written by a Chinese television.
It may, in fact, have been.
But Matt, a little bit earlier, you said the magic word, aliens.
Yes.
Now, it's like the problem for Universal and studios casting about for like something to compete with the Star Wars and Marvel mega franchises, and happening upon board games, is essentially, how do you make a board game as mind-numbingly boring and childish as Battleship into a fun, exciting action movie?
Right.
A quick side note for listeners of the show: the last time I played Battleship was actually losing to Ian Fidance.
Whoa!
Yes. That was the last time I played Battleship. But obviously, Ian, very funny guy, but the game was interminable. How do you make this into a dynamic, exciting motion picture? Well, the answer is aliens.
Yeah.
And we could have seen, like, the studios could have taken this in a lot of different directions, like the game of Operation. Make it a movie about
like humans getting abducted and operated on by aliens.
Oh, I was thinking like a John Q type movie. You killed my son because you tried to have a wacky surgery. You took my son's funny bone out and killed him.
Okay, how about this?
You could do a Saw style horror movie too.
Ooh, yeah.
Waking up on the operation table, you got to like operate on yourself with a machine or something.
Okay, how about this one? Hungry Hippos. The aliens arrive on Earth in giant battle mechs, like sort of Evangelions, Avas, but they're hippo shaped, and they just chomp up cities, and they have to stop the hippos from being hungry.
Right.
I think we all, unfortunately, before this episode even started, when we knew this is the episode we were going to do, we all basically arrived at the same joke about the Life board game movie.
Terrence Malick's The Game of Life.
You had Terrence Malick. I had David O. Russell. Matt, what did you have?
Alexander Payne. How would that be?
Okay, yeah.
Nice and depressing.
Yeah.
Well, at one point, Ridley Scott was attached to a Monopoly
Yes,
movie.
that is 100% true.
That would have been really fucking.
Yeah.
I would have liked that, I think.
That thing was in development forever, and I think that this movie had a lot to do with it dying. Like this is why I'm saying there's another universe where this movie succeeded, and honestly, when you look at the shit that does succeed, this is terrible, but it's not.
It's no like this movie is no
worse than the shit that
fucking
people
Doctor
like.
Strange or fucking no. This movie is a billion times better than the Eternals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is light years better than that movie.
I disagree.
Really?
Okay.
No, I mean, okay. I am on record as like hating those fucking movies. The Neo Marvel movies, like horrible, like depressed me. Similarly to the Warcraft movie, had a terrible experience watching Infinity War, but nothing in this movie fits together. I mean, okay, we were talking about the board game Life. You know this stupid way that you view the world when you're a kid, where you think like Doonesbury is a special comic strip for adults.
And it is though. It should be in the editorial section, not the comic section.
It wasn't my
as my grandfather once told me.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, digression to a digression. I always thought like when I'm older, well, I think it's funny that the hats are talking. But like, okay, like stuff like that, or like, the board game Life. I thought like, oh, I guess that's like what my parents play when they send me to bed. 5, because it's just like so complex, I guess.
It seemed very boring to me. I never wanted to play Life.
But this is, even when I was 7 playing Battleship, I was like, this is such a stupid game.
It's very boring.
Yeah.
That was
It's
the
just a
problem. Is that
shitty
this
game.
game is boring to play.
You say a letter and a number, and then it's either hit or miss.
Yeah.
And you go through like a while of getting miss. Then you get a hit.
Yep.
Then you get then you sink. Then it's just like it's a matter of time before you sink a ship. That's it.
It's Go Fish
It's
with
just-
artificial
yeah, exactly.
What it is it is literally just a process of elimination. There's no real thought to
Yes,
it.
exactly. There's
Like there are a few. I'm going to go
it's
this
just
way.
guessing.
Or I'm
There's
going to go
no
that way.
skill
It's
whatsoever.
a data entry job for children.
Yes, that is
And
exactly what playing that game feels like.
And it's Go Fish with artificial depth, and the artificial depth is like the fucking bullshit that you have. And this movie felt the exact same way.
Yeah, and I think there might be another world where this movie succeeds, and if it did, then the Monopoly movie gets made. Then we get a Clue remake, bringing Clue back in the film.
Well, the original Clue movie is
Actually pretty good,
actually a
yeah.
very
Okay.
great movie.
Well, that is a board game that, more than almost any, lends itself to the concept of
Yeah.
the movie. It literally is a story that you participate in.
Yeah.
But Mousetrap. We would get all of them, different genres, different flavors.
Diplomacy movie.
Yeah,
might
Risk.
be,
We would get Risk, and it would be aliens against the Napoleonic army. And you might say,
Pretty dope.
that's ridiculous.
No, it's pretty
But
dope.
I'm sorry, it's not any more ridiculous than the army in than our navy in this movie against aliens.
Right.
And that
The
is the
same
most
shot.
absurd thing
They
about
have
this
the
film.
same chance.
It is the most absurd and infuriating thing about this movie that it just gets under my skin as watching is that the attempt to make the aliens in any way like the match of the
An
humans.
interstellar civilization
Well, okay, that
is defeated by a World War II era battleship
Spoiler
at the end of
alert.
this movie. Spoiler alert.
counter argument. The premise is like no more shitty than like any of the existing Marvel movies. It's exactly as insulting. What is the premise of the Avengers movies? Oh, the purple guy is going to get all his jewelry, and then he's just going to solve the agriculture crisis. I guess that's the plot. That's all these movies have idiotic plots. Doctor Strange is like, a surgeon sat on his hand in a weird way in a
And
jet
jacked
blue.
himself off.
He jacked himself off.
Called the friendly stranger.
He got caught in the JetBlue bathroom. He didn't book a Mosaic ticket and was in the Mosaic bathroom. Big problem. They won't let him be a doctor anymore. So now he has to be a scary doctor. All these movies are stupid and insulting.
The friendly Doctor Stranger.
Yeah, but like this movie, like the way the characters relate to each other, the dialogue, the choices that everyone makes, it is Alien. This was a movie written, produced, and conceived by aliens. This is, there is a Joss Whedon soyness to Marvel movies, but it's at least something I can put my hands on and understand. I cannot understand the things in between aliens and battleships in this movie.
Okay, fellas, let's dive in.
Yes.
Let's play Battleship.
Let's do it. Let's play Battleship.
So, the film begins with sort of a brief preamble setting up the intergalactic stakes of this board game / movie. The movie establishes that something called the Beacon International Project has used a network of satellites to send a signal into deep space to a recently discovered Goldilocks planet. We all know the Goldilocks planet.
Of course.
A planet that is just far enough from the sun
Getting
in its
eaten
solar
by
system
bears.
to
What?
have an atmosphere, gravity, and a temperature roughly comparable to our own planet. Okay, done, established. There are aliens in the movie, so you won't be surprised when they show up later. They have named the planet. It is called Planet G. Planet Top G.
G
It's
unit.
the Andrew Tate planet.
Yeah.
It's the War Room planet.
Yeah, that is, you get a great referral code if you send people to that planet.
What message are we sending into deep space? Brandy, go to sleep. And whom want beer?
I'm a nice boy whom is a booster and earns him cocktails.
Okay, so the intergalactic stakes are established. Then, who do we see? Saddling up at the bar. It's America's heartthrob, Taylor Kitsch. This is the movie that was going to make Taylor Kitsch a star.
Yeah, he had 2 bites of the apple. He had this one and John Carter of Mars.
Oof. Yeah.
2 strikes, you're out, boy. At the end of the day, yes, bad luck with the projects, but he had the small screen charisma. He's like John Hamm or Tom Jane, guys who are really good on TV shows, but just they can't carry a movie. I'm sorry.
And I actually like Taylor Kitsch quite a bit. I think he's good. And obviously Tim Riggins lives in all of our hearts forever. But sorry, Taylor, go back to Dillon, Texas. You'll never get out from under those Friday Night Lights. And by the way, seeing as how Peter Berg directed this movie, also directed Friday Night Lights,
yes,
and produced the TV show Friday Night Lights. The movie also features Jesse Plemons, the lovable goofball Landry, is in this movie as well. And basically, Taylor Kitsch and Plemons play exactly their characters from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
It is it's not even a reskinning. They just put them in different costumes.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think at like the end of Friday Night Lights when they filmed their like last scene together, Taylor Kitsch was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna miss hanging out with Jesse Plemons, but like, I'm headed for the stars, and he's just gonna be like." He's going to kick around a few shitty movies and end up being killed off mid-season in an HBO series. We're just not even going to be on the same level. I won't be seeing much of him, I guess. And Jesse Plemons has lapped him 1,000 times.
It's true. It's brutal.
Jesse Plemons has kicked him into the ground and shoveled dirt on his name.
he's married Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Wait, was he nominated for an Oscar for Power of the Dog?
No.
Okay,
Yes.
he was?
Yes.
He was? Okay, but
he was.
Plemons has been killing it.
Yeah, Plemons is doing it. He's laughing it.
Plemons is honestly an avatar of all like slightly to majorly overweight guys who have much hotter wives and girlfriends. To him, I doff my cap. I salute you, sir.
Absolutely.
Taylor Kitsch could not even make it through the entire worst season of True Detective.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
they're like, we gotta get this guy off of here. He's snooze fest.
That was one of the worst seasons of prestige TV I've ever seen. And they were still like, Taylor Kitsch, get out of here. You were in Battleship. You were the linchpin of Battleship.
So, sort of, a charming bad boy with a heart of gold. Taylor Kitsch is having a drink at the bar. It's his birthday. He's being toasted by his older brother, the kind of fly straight, do well, achiever in life.
Yeah.
A captain.
He's a Navy captain.
He's a Navy captain played by...
They're in Pearl Harbor.
Yes, they're in Hawaii. They're at a bar in Hawaii. He is a Navy captain played by Alexander Sarsgaard. And he's going like, hey, bro, like, I know things are looking down for you now, but like, here, cheers to adversity, bro.
Yep. And he's pepping him up, and he's like, got time to get straight. And he's like, I don't want to. And he's kind of wavering. What do I do? But then this decision is made for him when 2012's hottest woman on earth,
oh my God, Brooklyn Decker
walks in. Now, for you Zoomers listening, Brooklyn Decker. So there used to be this position in American culture, the large-breasted hot blonde.
Yep, Jenny
And
McCarthy, Pam Anderson.
Pam Anderson. There was always one, and like the rules would interlap a little bit, but like you could see, it's like a passing of the chain.
And Nicole Smith.
Yes. The last one we had was Kate Upton. They stopped making them after that. The one before Kate Upton, though, was Brooklyn Decker. And this was her peak. And around this time, she was in this movie. She was in, I believe, an Adam Sandler film. She made a little bad stab for acting bona fides. Didn't really work. The movies were not successful. She married Andy Roddick. And just went off.
And not Justin Verlander, as I thought.
That's
Kate Upton married Justin Verlander.
The same thing. She also, hottest white woman with big boobs on earth, had a few movies, didn't do so good, married an athlete.
Married a pro athlete.
Yes.
Now, what were these women used for, Zoomers ask? Well, perhaps this was your dad's wallpaper on his home office computer that got him horny enough to create you that one night, September 2000.
Okay, so in walks Brooklyn Decker, and Taylor Kitsch is just like, oh, bro, like, I gotta have her, and he like sidles up to the bar, makes his move. He's trying to impress her. All he wants from the bar is a chicken burrito, but
she's
the kitchen's
hungry.
closed. She's hungry.
Kitchen's closed. Sorry.
So Taylor Kitsch, sort of like I said, rugged bad boy, takes it upon himself. He's like, you just wait here 5 minutes. I'll get you a chicken burrito. So like runs outside to like the 7-Eleven or whatever. No, some spoof, some goose, some jackass style hijinks ensue as he breaks into the 7-Eleven to pay for it, but still commit unlawful trespass and entry and property destruction of a business. He gets her a 7-Eleven, but like he fucks it up. The cops get called. They chase him back to the bar. They tase his ass down, and but not before he gives her a damn chicken burrito.
So this physical comedy scene, it evoked the I would say maybe one of the first 5 movies ever made. That's what I felt like I was watching. Yeah.
Oaf arrives at 7-Eleven.
That's was yeah. I think Peter Berg was really just like flexing that silent film comedy muscle.
So he's rough around the edges, but he's got spunk, charisma, leadership. Who needs that? That's
The
right,
Navy.
the Navy.
Yeah.
So it's like the next morning, he's hungover. His older brothers bailed him out of jail. So he's like, "Oh, bro, they tased me, bro." And he's just like, "Yeah, but they also took you to Burger King because you're damn white. And I'll be remind you your privilege is why you're alive right now. You need to check your privilege and ship up, straighten up,
Sit your
ship out.
white ass down and listen.
Yes, sit your white ass down and listen, bro. You're
going to the Navy.
joining the Navy. Boom. Opening
7
okay.
years later.
Battleship. Well, okay, was it 7 years
It
later?
says 7 years later,
Okay, so 7 years later, they're back in Hawaii. They've actually never left Hawaii. He's spent his entire career in the Navy in Hawaii. Taylor Kitsch. By the way, his older brother's name is Stone Hopper.
Stone Hopper.
Captain Stone Hopper and Lieutenant Alex Hopper.
Lieutenant Alex Hopper.
Lieutenant Alex Hopper. He is now dating, and has been dating for quite some time, Brooklyn Deckard, who is the daughter of the Admiral Shane, played by Liam Neeson, who I guarantee you showed up to film this movie over a weekend. And he was like, "You got me for 48 hours, like real time, 12 hours set time. Make the most of it."
It would be funny if this is the movie that like caused Liam Neeson to have that memory about trying to kill a black guy in Ireland.
Stalking the
in the
streets of Dublin,
70s.
looking for a black guy to assault because his friend was raped.
Yeah, he was basically playing Battleship in real life. He was walking down He was walking down random streets and is like, "Oh, is there a black guy on C3? What about B7? What about C16?" And lucky for everyone, he didn't.
Yeah.
He lost.
Thank goodness.
Same.
And I very much enjoy him coming into movies where he's, "Hello, I'm Liam Neeson, member of the United States Army. I'm sorry, Navy. What is it? What armed force am I in this? Anyway, I'm an American. That's the thing to remember."
To be part of Her Majesty's Royal Navy, the United States Navy. Okay, so why is everyone back in Hawaii? Well, it's dude. If you're a battleship head, if you're a naval vessel head, then you're all about the 75th annual RimPac Naval Games.
Rim job, naval.
Yeah,
games.
the RimPac Naval Games. It's like
I never miss it.
It's a giant war game held between the United States, Japan's tiny self-defense navy, and the country of Malaysia. Apparently,
Yep.
those are the 3 countries involved in the RimPac Naval Games.
Watch out, China.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And what are they doing? They're playing a soccer game. They're playing a soccer game against the Japanese team. And you
2
got,
countries known for their love of soccer: Japan and the United States.
yeah, like, what the fuck? Why don't they play baseball?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Why wouldn't they play baseball?
Why wouldn't they play baseball?
I feel like with that, like Peter Berg has to have like a son who's really into soccer.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's the like suburban dadness coming out there.
Yeah. Oh, Chunter, you're making the Dartmouth soccer team. We're gonna put a big soccer scene in the Battleship movie.
So like Taylor Kitsch is like he's on the pitch. It's a bloody masterclass, but they're down. He has a chance to make a penalty shot to like win the game, but like there's a bit of unsportsmanlike conduct by his rival Japanese player, played by the great Japanese actor Tadanobu Asano, who you might remember from such films as Ichi the Killer, Café Lumiere, Martin Scorsese's Silence, and one of my favorite movies of all time, Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Bright Future. Those are all movie mindset recommendations if you'd like to check them out. So basically, he gets in a fight with a Japanese guy. He blows the game and blows the penalty kick because he's too damn headstrong. But he still wants to win.
You got to be stubborn. You're so stubborn, mister. His brother basically is. You have to stop being stubborn if you want to improve.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm setting you up for character development right now."
But basically, the U.S. Navy soccer team loses to the Japanese soccer team at Pearl Harbor.
Very shameful.
Yeah.
Great
Great
shame.
dishonor. Great dishonor brought
Great
upon
shame.
us.
What we see next, though, is even more shameful. When we see the real veterans.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
really,
okay.
Felix
So,
started
all right.
getting heated around
All
this
right,
point.
so-
this was really
So
upsetting.
like to kick off the rim job naval games, Admiral Shane, is on the deck of the USS Missouri, the ship in which the Japanese surrendered to the United States at the end of World War II.
Which is a nice own.
Yeah, very much, very much. And like Taylor Kitsch and Brooklyn Decker, like they show up and he's like, "Oh, they're late. I'm gonna ask your dad's permission for marriage, but I'm too damn headstrong and cocky, and I don't know if he'll give me permission." So they show up late, and Neeson's addressing the crowd, and he's like, "We're honored to be joined here today by some of the finest men who have ever served in the United States Navy." And they cut to the real World War II veterans who served on the Missouri during World War II. Now, at this point in the movie, I think, Felix, you were hoping they were actors portraying World War II veterans.
we were not that lucky.
But Matt, Peter Berg, Mr. Troop Sucker.
He loves the troops so much.
So I think
And
he
it's very
insisted
fascinating.
on.
Yeah, he insisted. We need to make this to honor the troops. They said, "Hey, you want to make a movie about a board game, Peter?" And he said, "Only if it honors the troops."
And boy, does, I mean,
Oh boy.
is there okay, imagine you're born in 1922. You lived through the Great Depression. You, 7 of your best friends who are also your brothers, are turned into just fucking puddles and ground chuck in front of you in Okinawa. You have 5 kids. One of them absolutely dies due to a lawnmower thing because it's the 50s and 60s. One of your grandsons is, used in anti-ecstasy propaganda because he instantly died when he took, an e-pill in 1999 that was shaped like Lucky Charms. And then 13 years later, you are blessed with the final thing you'll ever remember, being in Peter Berg's battleship. What a
It's
great American life.
It's all worthwhile.
Oh man. So then, Taylor Kitsch is like, I just need 5 minutes with your dad to do the old fashioned but traditional thing to ask his permission to marry you. But he doesn't get a chance to do that before he gets in a damn Donnybrook with Tadanobu Asano, his brash Japanese counterpart. They get in a bathroom fight.
Yep.
They get in a bathroom
They work
fight.
it out in the bathroom.
And then they go before Admiral Liam Neeson, and he chews him out, and he's like, Taylor Kitsch, Admiral Hopper, Lieutenant Alex Hopper, enjoy this rim job because it's going to be your last one you ever get in the Navy.
Yeah.
You're gone. You're out of here, bud. But what I was wondering though is that after dedicating these rim-packed naval games to the veterans of the USS Missouri on board the USS Missouri, he's going to drum a lieutenant out of the Navy for beating up a Japanese guy. I got to tell you, my grandfather was an officer in the Navy, and he did not, let's just say he did not have fond feelings towards Japanese people. Certainly not members of their Navy, their self-defense Navy.
Yeah.
Well, how would a man from Northern
I guess it's a little different from
Ireland,
the Imperial Navy, but still, you get my drift.
how would a man born and raised in Northern Ireland and made a Navy admiral randomly one year feel about the Japanese? Probably ambivalent. He'd probably be like, "Hey, don't beat one of those guys up in my bathroom."
So they set out knowing that there's absolutely no way him and the Japanese guy are going to form some sort of mutual respect
Impossible.
and friendship by the end of this
No
movie.
way.
They hate each other
They
way
hate
too
each
much.
other.
It's
Yeah.
absurd to even imagine such a thing happening.
And then, also that his dreams of a career in the Navy and marrying the admiral's daughter.
That's
Shit.
goodbye.
In the
He's
gutter.
done. Not gonna happen.
Forget it.
No
Washed
way.
out. What a loser.
Washed out. What a loser. He's just going back to being the 7-Eleven oaf
Yep.
that he was at the beginning of the movie. So they embark on the naval games, and I forgot. We're introduced to another wonderful character in this movie, Rihanna. I don't know what her character name is. It's just Rihanna.
Rihanna's in the movie.
Rihanna's in the
guys.
movie.
For some reason, Rihanna's in the movie. I think she wanted to just see what it's like to do acting, and she decided it was boring.
She was like,
or something.
I'm making about $1 billion off lipstick and underwear. Like
hanging around this set doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
And I respect her for making that decision.
Peter Berg effectively deadened and siloed off any Rihanna acting career.
It's true. Yeah,
true.
she was like, enough, no need.
Was she in any other movies?
I can't think of one. In this movie, plays one of the lower troops. She's one of the gunners. She presses the button to blow things up. And she says something sassy right beforehand, usually. Not always, which is annoying, but usually. And then she does banter with Landry. And it is all the bants in this are just, it's Friday Night Lights in a sealed garage with a car running. Just dumber, slower,
It's like
less
sort of
witty.
Like, it's supposed to be like sort of camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's supposed to show sort of an ease amongst men at arms and members of a team.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but
but in this case, written by Chinese television.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No recognizable human affect.
The only real connection I found to Friday Night Lights in this is that the aliens resemble Buzz Bissinger and his outfit choices.
Take us to your Gucci store.
They're wearing huge boots.
Landry, I'm telling you, the aliens only have one weakness. It's the troll flesh dungeons for sex with an anonymous man wearing $10,000 slippers. Just have your nipples twisted by have your nipples twisted through a fucking $10,000 cape.
Captain, you're going to want to see this. It's the aliens' platinum Amex statement.
It's true. They got spikes coming out of their face.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, fuck me. I believe at one point in the movie, Rihanna compares Taylor Kitsch's brash admiral to a combination of Donald Trump and Mike Tyson. And no, it's not just because of the many rapes he's committed. Oh, folks! Oh, hey. No, that's not true about Taylor Kitsch or Alex Hopper.
Yeah.
It's weird to remember that Donald Trump was a cultural figure before he was.
Yeah, it's odd.
It's always kind of a smack of the
always
face when you
jarring,
encounter that old stuff.
Yeah, all the rap songs where they're like, "I'm like Donald Trump," you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the Rimpak naval games firmly afoot, the movie then takes time to set up the absolutely most dogshit death part of the plotline of the movie, which features Brooklyn Decker as the physical therapist to a real life troupe who's like actually in real life has become a motivational speaker after getting cyborg legs after losing them in Afghanistan or Iraq. This is the real Peter Berg troupe sucking part of the movie. And it's just, like he works with injured vets and teaches them how to walk again and how to be a man again.
I gotta say, having an entire section of this movie being a two-hander devoted to two novices who don't know how to act was a really smart move on Peter Berg's part. Like, if you're gonna have either of these people in this movie, you pair them with an actor who knows what they're doing so that they can kind of carry them along, instead of just putting them both out there to absolutely flail away and having no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, the motivational speakers acting, I mean, I'm not even sure in his abilities as a motivational speaker.
No,
I've
it's-
certainly never heard of him.
Wouldn't even begin to describe it. He just seems like granite. There's just nothing there. Just like this vague pissed offness.
I wonder, do people kill themselves after his speeches?
No, like the only thing he's
Only if
able
a
to
firecracker goes
like
off.
he just sounds like a vaguely he sounds like a vaguely pissed off robot. Like a robot that's really annoyed that you booted him up.
Yeah, no, these are just interminable scenes. But we get some spice later on in those scenes in the form of a nerd.
When they bring the nerd in, everything really pops.
Yeah,
The one thing I like about this plot line here is I love the idea that you're some like you're missing limbs, you're some like PTSD fried jarhead, and then they send you to a hospital in Hawaii, and they're like, here is like the hottest woman you've ever seen. And she's like, hi, I'll be your physical therapist. It's like, why do we feel sorry for these guys again? Why is Jon Stewart fucking crying about these dudes?
Yeah,
Come on, it seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Here's your free robot legs and your Valkyrie who's going to help you learn how to use them.
yeah. It like okay, if you work in like I don't know a fucking eraser plant. What job could you lose your limb at in America anymore? We don't really have like a lot of factories. Okay, let's say you work at LA Apparel. You work at the last factory in America, the LA Apparel factory, in Los Angeles and you lose your arm in the t-shirt machine. It's just like, all right, here's some aspirin. Back to work, asshole.
Well, I mean, at this point in the movie, we've seen a lot of kind of like, like satellite, like the CGI, like, satellites in orbits, like sending signals and shit. When are we going to see the aliens? Well, indeed, at this point in the movie, the aliens show up.
While they're out rim jobbing each other.
Yeah, they're
in the
rim
ocean.
jobbing in the fucking Pacific Ocean, and some aliens show up on the planet. The nerd character, played by Hamish Linklater, he's like, sir, you're on with the White House now. And he's like, well, what? These are information. And like, essentially, it's a plot device in the movie that the alien communication mothership kind of crashes into one of our satellites,
Hong Kong.
and it breaks up upon reentry, and like a huge chunk of it takes out like a half of Hong Kong.
Yeah, so
more anti-Chinese propaganda.
Yes, and so the rest of these ships are without communication ability, which does not seem to me to scan. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, we need a giant array to send them a message, but they got here on a ship. Like, they have that capacity. Wouldn't they be able to communicate with their mother's planet with like a fucking cell phone, realistically? But whatever. They need to have them out of communication so that they can't bring any more ships after that. So they got to have the thing smash into Hong Kong.
Matt, okay, I see the argument you're making, but I think it is very conceivable, given the logic of the movie, that one could make the rather small logical leap that this alien civilization, yes, they've mastered interstellar travel, but they've put the rest of their technology into peg launching and not into interstellar communications.
Oh God,
they're doing
the
pegging.
pegs.
The pegging. They're doing
pegs,
pegging.
folks. We love the pegs.
Oh, okay. So, and then like in the sort of like the White House Situation Room, we get lovable, charming character actor, the great Peter McNichol, who you might remember from Ghostbusters 2. Where are you from? Upper West Side. And of course, your favorite character from Veep, Jonah's uncle,
Jeff Kane.
He's one of the funniest characters in the later seasons of Veep.
Jeff Kane, what an amazing character, and he should have just played they should
have been the same character in this movie.
Oh my God, everyone in this movie deserved the Jeff Kane treatment. Really.
Yeah. So the other alien ships, they land in the Pacific Ocean. The rim job naval games needs to be diverted to investigate. And like they're sort of wondering, is this an exercise? They got to look at it through their binoculars. There's dang alien obelisks sticking out of the ocean. What are you gonna do about
just
it?
Like we're gonna go take a gander.
Well, okay, so like in the Rimpack fleet, there are 3 destroyers. One of them is captained by Alexander Skarsgård.
Stone Hooper.
Yeah, Stone Hooper.
Stone Hopper.
One is Asano's ship. A Japanese ship, and then there's another destroyer.
Yeah.
There are 3 destroyers in the fleet that they send to investigate the alien obelisks. They send Taylor Kitsch and Rihanna on like a little zip boat, little speed boat to the alien obelisk. And at this point in the movie, I was sort of struck by like I think because there's a little minigun on the boat, they're looking pretty fly, and I was just thinking like I think it's cool that nowadays the Navy lets you wear that kind of like cool digital camouflage instead of like those sailor outfits.
Yeah, they got rid of that like the goofy bell bottom deal. I don't know if you could take them seriously.
Well, they
were still like that.
They make you wear those when you like meet the president and you're not an officer.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, here, go dress up like a girl because you have to meet Obama. But if you're at war, you get to look like a Marine or a soldier or whatever.
I mean, what happened is that they saw the cool digital camo on all the other branches, and they're like, we look like assholes.
Well, yeah, we have it in a nice blue, a nice shade of blue.
Yeah.
It was the only remaining uniform that just you looked like a fucking goofball.
Yeah.
So at this point, Taylor Kitsch, they slide up to the alien obelisk, and at this point, Taylor Kitsch displays why he should not just have been drummed out of the Navy, but probably put in the brig and sent to Leavenworth as well. Like a complete moron, he touches the obelisk, gets blown up, and wakes up the alien battleships. And at this point, Felix, you said the performance of the Navy in this movie and Taylor Kitsch sort of reminded you of those sailors that Iran scooped up and gave juice boxes to.
That was one of the greatest events in naval history. Because they didn't even there is this weird story about this woman who was in the, I think she was in the Navy. She was a Navy officer, and she defected to Iran. And allegedly, after she defected, she tried to interrogate these soldiers, or these sailors rather, when they were captured. But it doesn't really seem like it doesn't seem like these guys would have known anything.
Yeah.
It seemed like just a way for the Iranians to be like, haha, we're giving your guys juice boxes and making them wear blankets. Probably why they killed Soleimani. That was pretty embarrassing for the U.S. military.
Well, the U.S. Navy gets embarrassed at this point, but to be fair, they're not going up against Iran. They're going up against a vastly technologically superior alien civilization.
Kind of,
yeah.
Again, superior to a degree that can't even be conceived of technologically in one sense because they got here. But in terms of their like weapons, in
Pretty
terms
much the
of
same
their,
thing.
they are at bare parity with
Yeah.
the American military. It's absolutely.
Well, we'll discuss their weapons in a second, but basically, like before the alien battleships emerge, the obelisks cover this like huge circumference of the Pacific Ocean in a force field, which blots out all radar and communications for like hundreds of miles, and like in cases traps all these ships on a battle board, a grid, if you will.
Something like that.
And then Taylor, Alexander Skarsgård, his ship gets owned. Well, the thing is, like, you have to get, okay, the alien war technology. They fire pegs.
Yep.
The little plugs from the game Battleship, they fire those.
They shoot them in the air.
They shoot them in the air like, woo!
And then they
spin into these ships, and they sort of like punch into the side of the ship.
And then when they hit, they go in farther, and then the whole thing blows up. And
just like in the game.
Just like in the game.
And this was the saddest part of the entire movie. This was right when we paused and realized this movie was not 87 minutes long, as it should have been designed to be, and we did, in fact, have over an hour to go. This is the emotional, the emotional dead center of the movie.
Yeah, and that's when you finally get, hey, remember the Battleship? Here it is. They finally remind you.
They remember, it's just like the game.
Hey, the premise.
I think the movie did a beautiful job of depicting the game of Battleship.
Absolutely. Throwing the pegs in the air.
Knocking the board over.
Knocking
You got
the
so
board.
frustrated with how fucking boring it is.
Yeah, and Alexander Skarsgård, that is his last memory. Is losing Battleship to the aliens.
But at no point does anyone say you sunk my battleships. No one says it.
There's a line that gets close to that at the end of the movie. We'll get to that.
But
we'll
it's
get to that.
You cannot not have that in the movie. I'm sorry.
So basically, the sort of more upright elder brother who's sort of like trying to keep Taylor Kitsch on the straight and narrow, he gets blowed the fuck up. His whole ship goes down. He's fucking destroyed. Him and all his men dead, going to Davy Jones's locker. So Kitsch gets back to his ship. I forget. I guess he's on another battleship. I don't fucking know.
He was on a small boat. Then he went on the Japanese, or he went on the other destroyer, and then the Japanese ship also got owned by the plugs. And then he decides that he is going to kamikaze attack.
Yeah. They pull him back on his ship, and they're like, he's like, where's the captain? They're like, sir, you're the captain. You're the highest ranking officer left alive. We need orders. Sir. And they're like surveying the smoldering wreckage of their two other destroyers. Those are Ali Burke class destroyers.
Yes.
I'll have you know. They're seeing this Leviathan alien fucking dreadnought bearing down on them, and they're like, sir, we need orders. And he's like, oh, you want an order? Here's an order. Full attack. Full steam ahead. Ram into this ship. Let loose all guns at this thing. And at this point, there should have been a mutiny.
Yeah. They should have thrown his ass overboard.
They should have mutinied immediately, surrendered to these aliens, given up.
Yeah, because this is insane. Be like the Kiel mutineers of 1917.
He's like, they killed my brother.
Yeah.
He wants the suicide attack. It was alien ship.
Yeah, so it's like, the whole movie is supposed to be about this guy being tested and then finding his character, and it's like, oh, here it is. He's a psycho, a nihilist demon willing to kill everyone in his own ship. And at one point, the thing that stops him is that somebody says, hey, there's survivors of the Japanese ship. There's sailors in the water. Should we go and get them? And at first, he's like, no, fuck them. First, I want them to drown and everyone in my ship to die just so that I could express how sad I am that my brother got blown up.
With no indication that they even have the capability of harming the aliens.
Yes.
Like, failure through and through.
Yeah. And finally, they snap it into him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I won't do that. And then they disengage, and then somehow they just stop fighting for a while, and other stuff happens, and then it's nighttime.
I think you could sum up 75 to 80% of the movie with other stuff happens.
Yeah.
Well, and Tadanobu Asano is alive. He's not dead. I thought he was dead earlier.
They pull him onto the boat with
water.
the other survivors.
But at this point in the movie, we talk about the aliens. They got another trick up their sleeve. They got another weapon in their arsenal. That weapon not featured in the original Battleship board game, and I was very upset about this. So there was like, what? This is not canon. The alien,
it's not canon. It's a buzzball.
There are no buzzballs in the game of Battleship, but the aliens in this movie. They launch buzzballs.
They got buzzballs.
They launch buzzballs at military and civilian infrastructure in Honolulu and all over Hawaii. The buzzballs, Matt, I think you could hit the nail right on the head here. They're like the slightly upgraded version of the Langoliers.
Yeah.
Stephen King's The Langoliers. Have you seen that TV miniseries? The sort of writhing masses of teeth that consume the past and everything in it.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
And they just launch them seemingly at random. They show you inside the buzzball, so you know that it's guided by some sort of intelligence as it's zipping around. And it goes up to a kid on a baseball field because it gets launched all the way into Hawaii, and it stops in front of this kid, and the kid in its vision is like green, so it's like, oh, then I'm not going to hit the kid. Instead, I'm going to bulldoze over the support beams of this fucking 8-lane highway that's got hundreds of fucking cars on it.
Yeah.
So that's again where like these aliens are just us. We're small fig leaf of like, oh, we can't do that, and then just otherwise allowing us to do whatever we want and kill whoever we.
So like one of our drone operators is like, oh, there's one individual child. That would violate the laws of war. Like here's a like a water purification facility that has like some maybe technical militaries. We'll blow that up and kill thousands of children, or an entire highway overpass that's going to crush a school bus. But hey, look, we didn't try to kill those kids. We didn't. They were just
10 years ago. Elon Musk saw this movie and was like, "Oh my god, I know how our self-driving car system is going to work." It's exactly the same thing.
Well, no, the Elon Musk self-driving car would do the opposite. It would just plow straight through that kid on the highway.
Hit the kid, do a pit maneuver, turn it, go into the other lane, hit a water purification plant, blow up.
The buzzballs are so baffling, and to me, they reek of some studio executive in the chain during the making of this movie who just got it in his head that would be cool and made them do it. Because otherwise, I don't know where they came from. What's the point of them? They don't do anything. The pegs I get, they're stupid, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's from the game. What are the buzzballs? Because they don't figure into anything. They don't do anything.
I gotta say, God bless Fortnite. Because, okay, everyone makes fun of how Fortnite now it's like the kitchen sink drain for all culture, things that you can't spin off into their own thing necessarily. So it's like
Predator,
Goku, Predator,
Vader,
Darth Vader, Homer Simpson. They're everyone, Chef from South Park. They're all fighting each other. They're all shooting laser beams and have lightsabers.
Chef would have a huge hitbox. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, you don't want to play as him. But I think that has prevented more of these movies from being made. You can just put the buzzball in Fortnite.
Right.
If you're Viacom or whatever, you'll be like, hey, we're going to license you the buzzball idea for $17 million, and you don't have to make this movie. You can finally kill Peter Berg.
Well, like the buzzballs, Battleship, the fact that they realized that if they wasted more money making this movie, it would actually be profitable for tax purposes, or they would lose less money if they spent more money making it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it got made to begin with, is this another movie where you have to ask yourself, like the ironclad proposition that when faced with many movies in Hollywood, was everyone on cocaine at every stage of making this movie?
If they were on cocaine, this would be more fun. I think this is like Ritalin, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the cocaine. The great action films of the 80s and 90s were cocaine. Now it's just Ritalin. Now it's just a bunch of homework addicts.
Yeah, Don Simpson would not wipe off bronzer with this script.
Okay, at this point in the movie, it's back to Brooklyn Decker and the Truth Guy, and like whatever alien soldiers land on Hawaii, and okay, like at this point in the movie, I was like, look, if it's like a sort of an ocean-based like naval combat movie, I can fuck with that. I like Navy ships shooting fucking cannons at each other, and like those awesome the mini guns that they use to shoot missiles when that are fired at the ship. Those things are awesome. But the movie truly does grind to a halt, not just when Brooklyn Decker and the guy with no legs are on screen, but when they attempt to show the aliens as anything other than just like large robot engines on an ocean.
Yeah, they show the aliens a lot, and they are just like people. They have 4 fingers instead of 5, and they have like these spiky beards, kind of. They look like Wes Borland, but otherwise, they basically are just people with sort of reptile eyes. And when they're on land, their interactions with humans are very weird. Sometimes they're just murdering them like nothing, and then other times they're sort of like just humoring them and sort of patting them on the head and ignoring them. None of it makes sense. But this is when the boring ass troop and his boring ass PT lady find the nerd, Hamish Linklater, who is the most annoying version of this character I think I've ever seen in a movie. Everything he says is, "I am a whiny bitch who wants. You should kill me. Why am I alive?" That's every line of dialogue.
At the same time as this is unfolding on the island of Hawaii, and like that's the other thing, the guy with no legs. This is his first day of physical therapy.
I think so.
I don't know. But this is like Brooklyn Decker's like, okay, let's hike up a mountain in Hawaii.
Well, yeah,
he's like, Liddy, I just got these fucking legs put on me.
Yeah, but he keeps saying how the mountain is nothing to him and how it's.
Oh yeah,
my grandmother could climb this, and she's dead. Fuck you. He's just very hostile, very unpleasant man. And I think you're supposed to be like, oh, yeah, because he got his legs blown off. But, as Felix kept yelling at the screen while we were watching this, nobody made you do that.
Yeah, no, he is acting like he got drafted. The opposite happened. You were like, I really want a communications degree. Perhaps that cool Dodge station wagon, not even a Charger.
While this is happening on the island of Hawaii, back inside the battle board inside the force field, Taylor Kitchen Company have fished an alien soldier out of the water. So, oh boy, we're gonna see some more of this. And at this point in the movie, they have like an unconscious alien soldier, and he's in sort of like his mech suit or whatever. And they're all looking at it. Landry's doing quips, and Rihanna has my favorite line in the movie, where she looks at the alien and she says, "My dad said they would come my whole life." Her father, that's right, Whitley Strieber in his book Communion.
Is this when we came up with the idea of the post-credits, like, goof 'em up sequence of, just like how we had the real Pearl Harbor veterans, we were going to have real Unit 731 veterans vivisecting the alien soldiers and sewing them together?
But then also, again, and at this point in the movie, the alien soldier, of course, wakes up. He grabs Taylor Kitsch, and in a blatant, shameless ripoff of Independence Day, upon being touched by the alien, Taylor Kitsch is sort of like in his mind's eye telepathically sees their whole plan, which is to do the board game Battleship on every planet. That
I don't really get it because he never says what he learned from that.
Yeah,
and the images it's like kind of a recapitulation. I never got anything related to the aliens at all.
The alien runs amok on the destroyer. They fight the alien. It uses its sort of like a red, you're dead, green, you're feeling pretty keen system to assess the technology among humans, like horseshoes, safe, gun, red, bad, kill. And then Taylor Kitsch distracts it while Rihanna points a giant cannon at his head and then blows it away before saying, "Mahalo, motherfucker."
Mahalo, motherfucker.
Mother boop, and she blows the alien away with a cannon from a destroyer.
Yeah, he's got his whole suit on at that point with his digital readout helmet, and he cannot hear or see a fucking cannon moving towards his head a foot from it.
Yeah, I would say that the aliens were sent by an alien Donald Rumsfeld. They were ill-prepared for this war.
I mean, maybe that's the way you imagine it. You're like, these guys are like us, It's they're just the intergalactic fuck-up versions of us. Like, all these guys just want to dodge challengers, too.
I mean, shit, like, we lost the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
We were vastly technologically...
But again, see, the problem I have with that is just a conceptual level. It assumes that, like, the distance between this society and one that has the ability to travel to interstellar is, like, not that big. It's so big.
Yeah.
That we would have to be so different. Any society would have to be so vastly different to get there, to just have such a paucity of imagination. They're just like, yeah, no, they're just like us.
At this point, it's sort of like they reveal that the aliens are on Hawaii because there's like some fucking like SETI like satellite disarray on a mountain, and like they've lost their communication ship. and they need to use the same satellite system that we use to send the signal to planet Top G, Andrew Tate's war room.
They're repelled by Andrew Tate's mage.
So the aliens need to communicate back with planet G. They need to establish a line of communication, as the motivational speaker, combat veteran, says. The most important part about any battle, establishing lines of communication. Or, as the nerd says, you're saying E.T. wants to phone home?
This was a cue for the audience to kill themselves. This is certainly what I felt.
At this point in the movie, Landry, Jesse Plemons, through some convoluted story about his pet lizard, after putting on the alien helmet and realizing something about the visor, he tells Taylor Kitsch that he had a pet lizard that he took to the beach one day, which is a bad idea because the lizard's eyes couldn't handle direct sunlight or something like that.
Yeah.
So he intuits that the aliens, their weakness, that's right, sunlight.
It's the sun, baby.
That is the thing I don't get. Okay, so the aliens have a weakness of sunlight. If you're going to fight a war on a planet that is famous for its access to sunlight, wouldn't you have a plan to block it out while you're trying to take over the planet?
Well, here's the thing. I think the assumption of the filmmakers, and I honestly think I saw read some articles about this movie when it came out because it was such a hilariously misconceived notion. The theory they had was well, this isn't an invasion force. This is a reconnaissance force. So they weren't necessarily planning on going to fight. They just had to mix up where the thing crashed, and now they kind of have to. But even then, again, that level of technology, you're going to have always a contingent for the sun exists.
The aliens are trying to hijack the satellite, but then back on board the ship, they have to come up with a way. How do we fight these alien dreadnoughts? How do we even fire our cruise missile? How do we fire our missiles and use any of our offensive weapon systems against them if all our radar is knocked out? At that point, Asano is beginning to tell Captain Taylor Kitsch about some sort of sonar-based detection system that the tiny Japanese self-defense Navy has been using against the U.S. Navy in some sort of capacity. That wasn't really clear.
Get an edge up on those rim job games.
In the rim job
we
games.
want to win those games.
He's like,
what it is that they're able to connect to a network of tsunami detecting buoys.
Ah, yes, that's it.
That are all out there and that are there they measure, waves so that if there's big increase, they can let people know ahead of time. And they're all out there in a grid pattern, and they got a signal that goes through all of them so that they can read when they see a change in waves as the alien ships, which are always, and what is that? We have
That's right.
Our second battleship mention of the film.
That's right, folks. All your favorite battleship coordinates are there. I was pointing at the screen. Yo, B3! It's B3! Look, C8! Damn, it's C8!
A11, my dog!
I did though when Asuna is explaining their sonar detection system to Taylor Kitsch, giving him the keys to defeat the aliens. Taylor Kitsch is I don't have time for this art of war bullshit. And he's like, that book's Chinese, asshole.
Wrong country. You just have to find the biggest one in the continent.
Okay, then cut back to the island of Hawaii. And this scene he talked about, I think this scene really does sum up Peter Berg's attitude towards the military and our relationship to the military. Because they're the nerd has established that he can establish communications with the naval fleet and order in, a barrage of shelling of the satellite network, of the satellites on the mountainside, so that the aliens can't contact their home planet. And he's like, well, yeah, I could go it if I go to my lab, but my lab is crawling with alien soldiers. And I can't do that. I'm just a scientist. And at that point, the half-man motivational speaker is just you were going over the top. He basically is ordering the civilian on to his death.
Yeah.
No training.
And they're just the reason why.
He goes, you will acquire the courage to do this.
Yep.
And I just think of that in light of Peter Berg, the insane interview that Peter Berg gave to promote this movie, where he berated an Israeli journalist to to sign up and join the military.
Got to join the army. Got to join up. Got to join up.
Chris, see if you can edit in the audio of that insane hectoring of this Israeli movie critic or whatever, which is pretty funny to begin with.
If you attack Iran now, they're going to fight you back, right? There's going to be blood. Israelis will die, right?
Yes.
No question. Would you rather take that now or let them get a nuclear bomb? It's the most serious issue facing our planet today.
Well,
more so than the movie Battleship, which I'm very excited to have directed. And I love Rihanna. She's a great actress and did a wonderful job in the film. And my dad was a Navy historian. And have you been in the Israeli army?
No.
What? How'd you get out of that? Are you a draft dodger? How old are you?
25.
You got to join the army, motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
How'd
you do.
you
It's
get
a
out?
long
What's your
story.
name?
I'm Jason.
Jason what?
Holt.
Jason Holt. Don't
Yes.
you have... Holt doesn't sound Jewish.
Well, my dad's Jewish.
Okay, my dad is too. You don't have to join the Israeli army?
You do.
Well, when are you going to join?
We're not having this conversation. It's I feel like I was bombed.
Pleasure. That was a good one.
Boom.
It's like, Peter Berg, calm down. You were in The Last Seduction, not the Battle at Chosin Reservoir, okay?
He
Calm
was.
down.
He was. He. By the way, not a veteran. And this is the thing. What's the deal? You're like, he didn't even join up. What is this? Dad was a Marine. So this is all Oedipal fucking drama. It's all bourgeois fantasy bullshit. A real fucking veteran would not make a movie like this. Like, and we know that because like Samuel Fuller would not make a movie like
he
this.
Would not, he would not disgrace the experience of war.
Yeah.
With like using the historical lens of the battle, like the war in the Pacific during World War II, to make a Hasbro Films board game movie that is also a giant recruitment poster for the Navy.
And the thing is, if he was like taking a check, he would not have done this neurotic suck job on the military as part of it. He would have the confidence not to do that. Yeah, but we don't get like guys like Sam Fuller to direct movies anymore. It's all coddled brats who never had any other job.
So at this point, the destroyer uses the battleship sonar detective system to do combat with the alien dreadnoughts. It's a miss. It's a miss. And they're like, okay, you have to lead them, you asshole.
Yeah. And then finally,
wouldn't that be the first thing you learn in the Navy? Like that your fucking missiles aren't hit scan.
yeah, but they never had to do it with the grid before.
That's true.
They're making it up as they go along.
That's true.
And they eventually do hit and blow up one of the alien ships.
At this point in the movie, I was getting bored and I took a mild disassociative, so the rest of the plot becomes a little bit
not
vague.
important.
It becomes a little bit vague to me. Taylor Kitchen Taylor Kitchen Asano used the sun to snipe the alien ship and blind them.
Yep.
I mean, like, these aliens stink. They stink.
These are the worst aliens I think of all time.
Was their plan was to take over the whole planet before the sun came out or something?
I mean, like I said, even if it's just like a reconnaissance, like they get rinsed. It's embarrassing. Like these guys had to have been like members of like McNamara's morons.
Yeah.
Of that planet. It's embarrassingly terrible.
These are aliens who like never took the alien SATs.
Yeah.
This is like a lowering of alien recruiting standards. Like, okay, if it's a reconnaissance force, they didn't recon anything because they all die. What are they going to come back with? Oh, they have an ocean. Yeah, we already knew that because that's where we fucking dropped your ship into, you fucking idiots. Oh, Scotland exists. Oh, if you crash into Hong Kong, you'll kill a bunch of people in an apartment building. Holy shit, thank you guys for your sacrifice. Shittiest aliens of all time. I will admit this was the point in the movie where I spent 30 minutes looking for projectors to buy.
You've got one, though.
I did buy one. So, that is one thing this movie has going for it.
Okay, so Lieutenant Taylor Kitsch's ship gets eaten by buzzballs. They make it to the lifeboats, and they limp back into Pearl Harbor, feeling defeated. And they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And Asano goes, "We have no more ships." And Taylor Kitsch goes, "We got one." That's right. The USS Missouri. And they realize they're on board the ship, and they're like, but this ship is over 50 years old. Its firing systems are analog. And who are we going to get to crew this thing? And then one by one, they just see pop up out of like the little gun ports and fucking gangplanks of this ship. It's the the actual World War II veterans, all 80 plus years old now. And another bad military actor, another AC/DC song.
Montage.
At this point, Felix, you said this is worse than the bonus army and what they're doing to these military veterans.
Absolutely. Like, this is deeply insulting, I mean, to everyone. And my heart sank when I heard them speak and realized their acting is too shitty and wooden. These are actual guys who are in the war, probably. And Peter Berg scoured his personal connections to find these guys and just fucking herded these senile guys around for scale, I think, probably. Nothing else. And gave them their last memory. They probably died instantly after.
I mean, they did this movie with aliens because there is no naval power on Earth that the United States can plausibly fight against.
Yeah.
So you can't really do it contemporary. And presumably they didn't do it in World War II because they thought that would have cheapened it somehow by making it about World War II. But by having these vets in it, it's way worse than if they just made it about World War II with regular people instead
with regular
of
actors.
Poor old men.
Instead of someone who's fought at the Battle of Midway.
Do you think, like, if any of those guys, like, died in Hawaii while they were filming it, Peter Berg's like, oh, I get to keep his skeleton. I have the greatest World War II memorabilia of all time. The skeleton of a guy who was really at Pearl Harbor.
I know. I think of one more Felix joke here. This was the point when you said the Japanese combatants in the Rimpak naval games should have taken some of their old timers, like kamikaze pilots who bitched out or survived, and give them a chance to redeem their honor.
That would have been awesome. Like, that would have been an actual creative thing you could do with that scene, where it's like the American vets and the Japanese vets like lock eyes, and it's like, oh my god, okay, you tried to.
Would have been really good.
That would have been awesome.
And then the old dudes just smash into the side of the alien ship.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. But no, like, not creative enough.
Or Unit 735 dissecting them. Or Unit 731. 731 dissecting them.
There's so many creative things you could do here that he just refused to, and it's not out of respect for the veterans. We know that because he put them in battleship.
What he did have is he had one of those veterans say, while the battleship is duking it out with the last alien ship, they're not going to sink this battleship. No way.
That is just
the whole rousing climax of this movie, where we get you get Plemons, you get Rihanna doing some riffs with these old timers. They're like,
can you imagine what got left on the cutting room floor there?
Yeah, they had to have a sensitivity reader on.
Oh my god,
the set for that one. They had to keep Grandpa distracted.
The fucking hat guy probably guessed 49 different races that we haven't even heard categorized since 1957. Are you a Circassian deer? There was a belly dancer in Morocco who had your eyes. I married a 14-year-old. Nothing I say is worse than putting them in this movie, okay?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And, okay, so, like, the rousing climax of this movie is sort of like the young Top Guns of today's modern Navy teaming up with World War II veterans to fight an alien battleship with the historic USS Missouri. Now, I view the climax of this movie as kind of the cinematic equivalent of those like news stories that you see go viral every so often that are something like, this 83-year-old man has been bagging groceries for 30 years. His community pitched in and bought him a car so he can keep bagging groceries. And I just think it's like, this isn't rousing and heroic. They shouldn't have to be doing this. Like,
they feel honored.
Yeah, okay.
Their service is being honored. You snoots. I'm sure, honestly, the sad thing is they probably all had a very nice time. I'm sure they did. They got to meet
Rihanna.
Okay, they got to meet Rihanna.
I've never met Rihanna.
Attention
That'd
to
be
them.
awesome.
Yeah, that would be sick.
It was like in the moment, it was a nice moment. It was. You know what? It was a trip outside the house. I'm sure they appreciated it.
That's true. Do you think they gave them anything like fun?
I think they probably did. Yeah, like maybe they probably brought some celebs over to say hi to him.
No, I mean, but like one of those gift baskets where it's like,
swag bag.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely gave him some swag.
Got some Warby Parker land glasses. Yeah.
Okay. Now I feel better about
They
this.
probably gave him cool bomber jackets for the movie.
Oh, Matt, you have the Con Air crew
I
jacket.
have the Con Air crew jacket.
That's a bomber jacket.
They could
Yeah.
have given them cool battleship crew jackets.
I have that This Is Us crew jacket. No, Jim gave me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jim gave that to me.
Oh wow, that's brutal.
It's a wonder. No, it's a great gift.
No, it's amazing. I want that now.
It simply does not get cold enough here to wear it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll take it home for Christmas.
All right. So basically, they're on the USS Missouri, and they use like the Art of War is referenced again. They use they're still using the Art of War, but blinding your opponents.
He does this deal where he's moving in one direction, and they're launching the pegs at him again, but then he drops anchor, and it like snaps the ship out of the trajectory it was on, and all the ships miss. And then the whole ship comes broadside, so that it's all of its guns are facing the alien ship.
And then they light it up. They light it up.
And of course, that's where you go. They press the button, and here's the annoying thing for me, a little personal annoyance. So 3 times in this movie, Rihanna says something or presses a button that blows something up. And the first time she says "Mahalo, mother," boom. Second time she just goes boom. Third time nothing. The climactic one, and they blow him up. The ship sinks. They blow up the alien ship. Congratulations, aliens.
They did indeed sink the alien battleship.
I'm trying to think what this is the equivalent of, like a human getting like killed by like a family of squirrels. Like I'm sure it's possible, but you really have to fuck up for that to happen.
And then like back in the Island of Hawaii, like the injured vet, the nerd, and Brooklyn Decker, they fight in hand-to-hand combat.
They literally have a fist fight.
They have a
with
fist
the
fight
fucking
with
alien.
as you described them, Felix, like basically the elites from Halo.
Yeah. And this guy who's like literally taking walking classes beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, just annihilates him.
But then the alien unfairly is like, oh, what if I hit your fucking your peg legs and knocks him to the ground, and then boom, here comes the nerd to the rescue.
Yeah,
actually, I thought it was gonna be Brooklyn Decker.
The nerd redeemed himself. And once again, Peter Berg giving a nerd a chance to justify his existence, not because of Felix, it's to compare the money that went into training the motivational speaker and the money invested in a top scientist or engineer in intersatellite communications. It doesn't seem like one would have to justify their life to the other in Peter Berg's moral calculus. But also, Felix, you had an excellent observation about how we know Peter Berg is an evil person.
Right. Oh yeah. So when Peter Berg was on Entourage, he was portrayed as a cool, badass, nice man. That's how you know in real life he is a monster who has probably killed people, if not all the veterans on this movie. He may have had the first copy of COVID 8 years ago and given it to all of them. It is a hard and fast rule. If you were on Entourage and you were portrayed in any way as cool or likable,
playing yourself, yeah.
Cool or likable, you are a monster in real life. But if you let yourself be played as an asshole, you're awesome.
Yeah.
You're the man. Seth Green, Jason Patrick, I think. Who else was like an asshole in Entourage? If you're hearing this 7 years from when we recorded this, hit us at chapotraphouse@viacom.com and let us know who played
I've
themselves.
never seen Entourage.
If you would like to replace Matt Christman,
if
you've seen Entourage,
here, frozen because I've never seen that show.
I'm not going to say it's a great show, nor am I going to say it's a bad one. But I'm certainly going to say it's a show you would watch to calm down after The Sopranos.
After that one got you all hyper.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, what's going to happen with Phil? And then it's like, oh, is Vincent Chase going to fuck Scarlett Johansson? And it's like, probably he fucks every girl he wants. Johnny Drama, he has a 40% success rate. Jerry Ferrara, actually closer to 70%. E also fucks every single girl he wants. Unrealistic. Ari Gold, beautiful wife. I don't remember how many kids Ari Gold had. Probably 2. Lloyd, his assistant, I think he gets a boyfriend at the end. The end of Entourage, there's a very confusing storyline where Vincent fucks Sasha Grey and she gets him addicted to cocaine. And that's all you need to know. So now you've seen it. Do you get it now?
I got it now. I got
okay,
it.
now tell me who played themselves on Entourage.
Wasn't James Cameron? Was he an asshole?
No, he played. James Cameron was portrayed as a nice guy on Entourage.
But we know he's like kind of an asshole because he's like a Napoleon. Like Napoleon was probably an asshole.
That's true.
That's fine. I don't care if he. I want him to be mean. He has a lot to do.
Well, I mean, I think you can fairly compare the films of James Cameron to that of Peter Berg, though. I mean, they're equal in many respects in that they were on Entourage together.
Yeah, that's true. Peter Berg next to James Cameron is like
the humans versus the aliens in this movie.
Yes.
God, what even? I guess like an ant building a little fucking shrine out of twigs and IMP.
Well,
I mean, he's not even. He is a mere shadow of Michael Bay. I mean, how the hell could he compare to Cameron?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we're almost at the end of this movie. Basically, Brooklyn Decker calls in the fucking. She calls in the barrage of shelling to blow up the satellite system.
It's one giant shell.
One
that they have
giant
to
shell.
dramatically move across the boat and then put into the big gun.
They stuff up that hole. They blast off. They blow up the satellite. The aliens' lines of communication cut off. And then, but they fire the buzz balls at the USS Missouri, and you think, oh boy, like another historical landmark gone to shit. And Asano and Kitsch, they're like, it was an honor serving with you. Salute as the buzz balls bear down on them. But nope, the buzz balls are intercepted by naval aviators, by Tom Pete Maverick himself.
Because, hey, remember Liam Neeson? He's still here.
Liam Neeson's still in this movie. He's still in this movie.
Because the force field is now down, and that means that the rest of the fleet can show up, and they send in the fighters, and they blow up all the buzz balls, and then they fucking use all their guns and missiles and such on the ships, and that's the end.
I want to point out when they were carrying the torpedo or whatever to fire at the alien lines of communication, it was a couple World War II veterans, 2 Japanese guys, and 2 normal Navy guys, which is all 3 types of people in this movie. It's the only characters in this entire movie.
And they're all rewarded for their heroism. Captain Stone Cooper is posthumously awarded a medal for his valor and bravery and dying. Taylor Kitsch, though, the guy who saved Earth from the alien invasion, only given the Silver Star.
A fucking Silver Star. The 3rd best thing you can get. What do you need? The only guys who get medals of honor are Navy SEALs, where it's oh, your Osprey crashed and you died and you didn't actually do anything, but we're giving it to you after you died, so your son can go to war college for free.
Taylor Kitsch, he gets the Silver Star from Admiral Shane, Liam Neeson, who in this movie, they do make clear he is in charge of the Ohio fleet of the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
Admiral Shane. What a great name.
But then he asks Liam Neeson for his daughter's hand in marriage, and Liam Neeson says no, turns him down. But then, of course, there's a bit of lighthearted.
There's a little wink.
There's a little wink, and then he's saying, "I'll discuss the terms."
We'll discuss it with chicken burrito.
Yeah.
Call back.
Call back. Yeah.
Here's the thing: the movie's ending, and I'm just thinking, what are you people so excited for? You should all be just fucking kissing each other and lying down and praying, because you're all going to die. Because, okay, you stop them from communicating, but they know where they are. They know where they went. You were the ones who sent them the message, and those guys showed up. They'll just send more guys. Yeah. So if there are more guys, you will not catch them unawares. They will annihilate you.
No more messages into deep space. No more trying to contact alien civilizations. Read the 3-body problem for more on this.
Okay, so one episode of Entourage, there's a big storyline over them getting medicinal weed.
Okay.
And they get pulled over by an uncool cop. And Turtle in a moment of like similar to what we saw in this movie, like tactical awareness, throws it down a sewer grate. But this may prevent them from fucking 3 girls. Turtle has to fuck what is implied to be the least appealing one. Though, because this was made in 2006, this means she has a normal body weight. But he does fuck her. So what do we learn from that?
He also got the Silver Star.
He would have gotten the Silver Star. Yeah, for fucking a woman who doesn't have an exposed rib cage.
We know where the planet is. They know where we are. We're fucked. We are fucked in this world. The next movie will be the end of humanity.
Okay, so Malcolm McDowell is on Entourage, not playing himself, but he's playing this character who's like supposed to be the greatest manager of all time, which is not really a thing that exists, right? Like no one would be like, "Oh, that's the best manager." He's known for being a manager.
Yeah, no, there's famous ones, but that's it.
Yeah, because E is Vince's manager.
Oh, and Martin Landau played Robert Evans.
That was pretty good. Yeah, his catchphrase or his like tick, he would say, would be like, "Is that something you might be interested in?" Like he'd go, I bought this house for $2 million and now it's worth $12 million. Is that something you might be interested in?"
That was Peter Berg's Battleship.
Right. And that we're still on Entourage. There's another episode where Ari is separated from his wife and he cries while looking at a screensaver. To add some depth to the usually boisterous Ari Gold, based on Ari Emanuel, brother of Rahm Emanuel.
And Zeke Emanuel.
Zeke Emanuel, the heart surgeon.
The guy who
he wants everyone to die.
He wants Logan's Run. Yeah.
Wants to kill everyone.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Right, on Entourage Season 7.